Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, and welcome back to another lovely but cold evening in Scotland. So in this week's video, we've got an awful lot to do. First thing we've got to do is get the final couple of pipes off of this car, get them onto this one. And then once we've done that, we've got to get the radiator pack back in, and then get all of the service stuff, fill all the fluids back up. So that'll be oil, radiator, power steering, and the aircon. And once that's done, this car should be able to start running again, which is awesome. So we'll run it, get it up to temperature, make sure everything's okay. Then we'll get the crash bar that's hiding back there painted. We'll get the top bar painted as well. Get that all reassembled and back on the car. And at that point, the last things to do is get the bonnet and the bumper, which is hiding behind it back there, get them prepped for paint. But before we get started, there's been quite a few people asking me in the comments about what I'm doing with this car. And as I said in the previous video, I am breaking this for its parts. So if you check in the description box down below the video, you'll get a full list of the parts and rough pricing. But don't hold me to those prices. I am open to offers on every single part for this car. That was just a list that I pulled together off of other for sale items on eBay. So with that, let's get the final few pipes off of here, get this car in the air, get the pipes off of here that we need, and we'll take it from there. Right, so the radiator's in, all that stuff's plumbed in. My original plan was to swap the lower pipe out, but the problem is that pipe goes all the way along there, right the way to the power steering rack at the back underneath, all the way along and then all the way back. So to get it out was going to be an absolute nightmare. So what I did instead was I bent that pipe back a little bit to allow it all to fit, because it saves an absolutely incredible amount of time. Plus, even on the quick jacks, there isn't enough space, I don't think, to get underneath to get the subframe out, to get the power steering rack out, to get that pipe off. So it got to about midnight last night and I thought, excellent, all that's done, happy days. Now all I need to do is paint the crash bar and put it on. And then I realised that the bolts for the crash bar, 2 go in there and 2 come in from this side, and I've just put the radiator pack in the way. Unbelievable. So what we're going to do is we're going to take off all the pipes again, rad pack, get it all out of the way, get the crash bar painted, get it fitted, and then put all this back in place. Honestly, why I didn't think about that sooner. Anyway, lot to do, so let's crack on. Right, that's the crash bar in, radiator pack all installed, all the cables connected, all the pipes connected, so we should be good to go. And one thing I forgot to mention earlier in the video is that you saw me replacing these last night off the blue car because they were bent up the way from the crash. So they've been swapped out. And now I think the next thing we need to do is get all the fluids back in it. So we need power steering fluid, radiator fluid, and while we're at it, we're going to change the filter and change the oil as well. So with that, let's crack on, get that done, because the next step after that is getting the car back down on the ground so we can turn it over, let it get up to temperature, and get all the airlocks out of it. Right, so that's the oil changed, which was an absolute unmitigated disaster. Why they bothered putting a crossbar right in front of the sump plug, I have no idea. I'll chuck that down to just being a Vauxhall. Then filled up the radiator and also filled up the power steering fluid. So what we're going to do now is turn the car over because we want the oil to run through the system fully. Because as you saw, I replaced the cartridge filter and it's currently dry. We don't want it to sit dry for too long. So we'll fire the car over, get oil circulating around it, and at the same time bleed the radiator system because it's currently sitting on the max line, but I don't think that's going to be the case once the car fires up. Right, so that's the car running. Started up okay. But one thing that is a little bit louder than I expected is that pulley there. So we may have to do something about that fairly soon. But for just now, what we'll do, like I say, let the car warm up. Keep checking the radiator. We want it to get up to temperature. Make sure there's nothing else going wrong. Then if we need to, put some more water in the radiator. Check the oil, make sure it's at the right level. And at that point, I'll probably see you guys in the morning, because it's quite late at night now. And my neighbours are going to go mad with this car purring away in the garage. So I'll see you guys back here in just a sec. Right, so it's the next day. What we need to do now, because I figured out what was making that weird noise from the pulley, is because that's the power steering pulley. And I think what's making the noise is the fact there's air still trapped in the system because we drained all the power steering fluid. So what we're going to do is turn the car back on, put the steering wheel full out left and then full out right. We'll do that about 5 or 6 times. That should force all the air back out into the tank there. And that should get rid of that noise. And then what we need to do is wait a wee bit and top up the radiator fluid as and when we need to. Let it keep running till the fan comes on, because we want to make sure that the fan kicks in, because that's really quite important. And then at that point, the car should be able to move under its own steam, which will give us the ability to move the car out of the way so we can get the bumper, bonnet, everything else ready for painting. Right, that's the car fired up. As you saw, the fans came on, so the cooling's good. Topped up the water back to the max line, or just under the max line. So we're good there. Power steering, as you saw me do, turned the steering wheel full out left, full out right loads of times, and then topped it back up. So power steering is now exactly where it's meant to be as well. And we stripped apart the front bumper, so we'll sand it all down, get it ready for paint. Don't think we'll need to primer it because we'll just cover right over the top. And the last little thing was putting the air ducting back in. So anyway, that's going to be the end of this week's video, guys and girls. In next week's video, because everything's now ready, so we're going to get the blue car out of the way. Now the red car runs, and that'll allow us to get the red car out of the garage, to give us the space to get all the panels laid out with enough space to walk around the garage as we need to, so we can get the bonnet, the bumper, and all the little accessory bits all painted, which will allow us to get the car back into the garage, get the bonnet, bumper and everything on it, and externally the car will be done, which means we can then turn our attention to getting the dashboard out of this car and the dashboard out of this car and fit it into the red car. And then before you know it, this car will be back on the road, ripping it down the street. And as always, I hope you're keeping well and I hope you're keeping safe. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.